Luffy is strong. But can he defeat someone like Emu, a being who can control minds, possess souls, and maybe even live forever? This theory explains how Luffy's power, fruit, and heart are the exact things that make him the natural counter to Emu. Remember Emu's power, not physical but spiritual. Emu doesn't fight like Kaido or Akainu. He controls people from inside, like turning Gorosei and Gunko into abyssal demons. This means his power isn't just Haki or devil fruit. It's about dominating the soul, controlling a person's will and turning it into darkness. It's fear, corruption, and spiritual manipulation. It's a power that affects the mind and heart, not just the body. That's why normal Haki or strength may not work. You need something that can fight from the inside out. 7.2. Luffy's fruit, not just a power boost. Luffy's devil fruit isn't just rubber. It's the Hito Hito no Mi, model Sun God Nika. It's a mythical zoan that holds the spirit of a god of joy and freedom. This fruit didn't give him power when he trained. It gave him Gear 5 only when he died, when his soul was pure and his will was free. That's the key. This fruit responds to emotion, not strength, and its heartbeat, the drum of liberation, is a sound that represents freedom, clarity, and happiness. It's not just noise, it's a vibration that destroys fear, removes evil thoughts, and helps people remember who they really are. That's exactly the opposite of what Emu's control does. 3. Why the drum of liberation breaks Emu's control. Emu turns people into monsters by filling them with darkness. But the drumbeat in Luffy's heart is pure joy. It's the sound of a free mind. Think of it like this. Emu tries to control you by spreading noise in your mind. Fear, guilt, pain. But Luffy's drum clears that noise. It resets the heart to peace. That's why the drum of liberation could be the direct counter to Emu's mind-soul control. Where Emu spreads darkness, Luffy spreads joy. And joy always exposes lies. But isn't Luffy weaker than Emu in Haki right now? Yes. Luffy's Haki isn't at Emu's level. Emu may have ruled the world for 800+ years and mastered all types of Haki. But that's why the Elbaf arc is important. Elbaf will be the arc where Luffy realizes the world is still much bigger, and he'll be forced to grow, both in Haki and in his understanding of his fruit. He will learn to combine Advanced Conqueror's Haki plus Nika's power in a more refined way. That's how he becomes ready for the final battle. Why Emu isn't truly immortal. People say Emu is immortal. But what if he's not? What if Emu just transfers his soul into new bodies? Maybe like a devil fruit technique or a cursed ability. In that case, he's not truly immortal. He just runs away from death. And the only way to defeat him is to destroy the soul, not the body. Now think, Luffy's fruit awakened in death, when his soul was empty, pure, and full of joy. So maybe the drum of liberation, with his advanced Haki, can hit the soul directly and end Emu permanently. Why the Nika fruit chose Luffy. This fruit isn't like others. It waited centuries to find the right user. It didn't choose Luffy because he's strong. It chose him because he's pure. He's the kind of person who would die smiling, forgive his enemies, sacrifice himself to protect friends. That's why no one else can unlock Gear 5. You can't just eat the fruit. You have to match its soul. Why did Luffy unlock Gear 5 only in death? This is the most emotional part of the theory. Luffy didn't awaken his power by training. He awakened it when he was dead. Why? Because in death, there was no anger, no ego, only his pure will to protect others. And that's when the fruit responded. Because Nika doesn't want rage, he wants joy. 8. Why Luffy can't be controlled like others. Luffy's body is rubber, and no matter how much you stretch rubber, it always returns to form. That's the perfect metaphor. Even if Emu tries to control him, Luffy's soul will bounce back to its true form. Free, pure, unchained. His fruit, his nature, and his joy make him uncorruptible. That's why he laughs in death. That's why Gear 5 isn't just goofy, it's dangerous. Because even when the world breaks, Luffy still laughs, and that joy can't be owned. 9. Is Elbaf the final battle? No, it's the warning. Luffy will face near defeat. He will realize the world's darkness is deeper than he imagined, and that will push him to upgrade everything. Haki, understanding, purpose. Elbaf isn't the end. It's the beginning of the end. It will teach him how small he still is, so he can grow into the man who will one day end the Void Century. Final point, what makes Luffy truly dangerous to Emu? He doesn't want power. He doesn't want revenge. He just wants people to smile. And that is what Emu can't understand. Joy is unpredictable. Joy is free. Joy is undefeatable. That's why the Nika fruit chose Luffy. That's why the world still hopes. That's why the final war won't be won by force, but by freedom. Emu rules through fear. Luffy rules through joy. And when the drum of liberation plays, even darkness loses its voice.